Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I was thinking we could go through my work portfolio together. So the idea of this portfolio review kind of idea came to me when I was putting together my own portfolio and I was looking for resources online, like what a part one architectural assistant job application portfolio would look like, and the resources for this is very limited. So I was thinking I could actually share this session with you in hopes that I can give you some idea into what you should put into your portfolio that might attract the attention of an employer and attract an interview and subsequently land you the job. So quick heads up, this portfolio is not to boast or to show off. It's just merely to give you some information as a reference to what potential employers may be looking for in a part one graduate. And also, the work here is not something you would see in a Norman Foster or like BIG or OMA kind of big firms application. It's because I wanted to work in a smaller firm first at this part of my architectural journey, and I kind of targeted my portfolio towards that audience. And I know that this is not my best work as well. I know there's always room for improvements. I hope you like this video as well. So let's dive right into it. Right. So the way I put this portfolio together for me is in a very tactical way, because I kind of speculate what the employers want and then I put the content that I think they would like into my portfolio. So my portfolio in total is 22 pages. And the way I put it in is I actually think, what do employers look for in a part one? And many people may think that employers look for you being specialized in some area, but for me, I think that this is way too early in the architectural journey for me to be specializing in one area, because we're only 3 years in and that's still very preliminary and being a chartered architect, registered architect kind of journey. So I kind of think that what employers want in a part one is to see that they have a diverse range of skills, they are willing to take initiative, and they have like a passion for architecture, but at the same time they kind of know what they're doing, so you don't put work that's too underdeveloped into the portfolio. So diving into the portfolio, this is my heading page, and I kind of use the color theme pink and yellow because yellow is my favorite color and pink kind of goes well with yellow as well. And I put pink and yellow into my year two architecture projects as well. So using this as my graduate, like undergraduate job application color theme, I don't have to change a lot of things, which saves me a lot of time as well. So this portfolio I actually put together early January. So I didn't actually include my final project, my final year, like your graduate project into it, which some employers may find it less appealing. So if you want to increase your chances of getting a job, then it is very important that you include your final year project as well. But I didn't do that because I did that early on and it kind of worked out. So this is the content page, and I included references in the corner. Like I included two references, which are both my academic tutors. And as you can see, I included like 8 projects in this portfolio. So they're not all architectural projects. Some of them are like, as you can see, it's graphic design. And then I even put my humanities essay in here. And then like there's some experience, which I did like a life build project. And then the other ones like 5, 6, 7, 8 is more related to architecture, and I use projects from my first year and second year as well. The reason why I put such a diverse range is, as I previously mentioned, I think that employers at this stage would want to see an individual with an inquisitive mind and a passion in architecture, so maybe a more diverse range of skills, they would want to look for that. So moving on to my first page. So for first page graphic design, I put some posters that I did, some Instagram posts that I did for like the societies that I ran or was part of. I did those Instagram posts for them. So I kind of put those posters or the graphics here to show that, oh, I had this certain skill of like using colors or graphic designs as well. And then moving on, we have the second page, which is my research essay. So this is actually my third year essay, and I was in the elective anthropology of home. So I actually referenced Sarah Wigglesworth's dining table here, and I drew the before the meal, during the meal, and after the meal, drawings of how my dinner table would look like if I were to dine back home or dine abroad. And it is like a study through food. So using food as like a medium to see whether food actually means a sense of home. So in the end, I conclude that it is the social interactions between you and your family members that is the sense of home, and food is just like a medium that helps facilitate that. It's not food itself is a sense of home, which can be portrayed here, that even if I'm eating like a homemade recipe, like I follow a recipe that my grandma gave it to me, and I made it myself abroad, but I don't have any social interactions with family members, then I don't really feel at home. So the sense of home is not genuine. It's only genuine when you're surrounded by your loved ones. And I put it here as well. And then third, we have a life build project, which I did, and I did it during Easter. So I used my Easter holiday and I participated in this life build construction in East Sussex. I learned about a level floor construction, and then I helped with a wall installation and building some furniture as well. So this is not a very developed, like it's not building like an actual concrete building. So it's more like adding installation to our farm shed. So the owner of the farm wants us to make more facilities for people who might come there, and to kind of make more activities for the people there. So in the first year, they made a play space for kids, and now they want to make a space where adults can have a drink. So this year they wanted us to make like a bar area. So all the materials here are recycled materials on metal panels and everything. So it's a very sustainable kind of construction project. And the highlight of this is that I get to make a rammed earth wall, which I have heard so many times during tech lectures where there's like a very good installation and it's very sustainable. And then I get to actually witness the whole process and get to do the tamping myself as well. This is a very live in-person experience actually increased my love for architecture, and to be able to go into the site and do things with your own hands is very different from learning about architecture theoretically. And I think it's also a very critical skill that architecture students may lack these days, because life build projects are not like a mandatory thing in the RIBA curriculum, which I think definitely they should be. And to highlight my portfolio, I think this is kind of like the highlight of my portfolio, because I think most of people just include like theoretical designs, and this life build project actually maybe gives the employer some idea about how you're willing to step beyond academia and go into the site to learn more about architecture. And the employers who actually saw this gave me feedback about how they're really interested in this as well. So this is definitely like something they may look for, and definitely like a conversation starter between you and employer as well. So if you have some experiences which exceeds like normal undergraduate RBA curriculum and expectation, do include that in your portfolio. It may be useful. And then this is a competition entry that I did. So it is reimagining a set design, and it features two of my favorite TV shows, so Friends and also Big Bang Theory. And the brief is, if we were to extract Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory and to put him into the cast of Friends, what living arrangements need to be made in terms of like the layout of the set to accommodate such a character. So it's a very client dominated kind of project, and you go deep into what the client's needs and wants are, what their daily routine is, in order to figure out what the clients, like the characters, need, what they want, what makes them feel comfortable. It's their home after all. And then I added a room into the set design as well, and also made changes to the living room to accommodate a new character, and it worked out really well as well. And then this competition entry also shows that you are willing to step outside of just school things and learn more as well. So it shows you have like a more passionate look into architecture. Moving on, we have my architecture projects from school. So I have 22 pages in this portfolio, but for the architecture projects, I actually did like cover pages for each of the projects. So it's actually 4 pages that it's just a title and like a really brief intro about what the project is. And this one, you see, it's Tetris, and I think it's important to put like a nice title that actually describes your project instead of saying, oh, an accommodation for students. You can actually think of like what the highlight of your project is and think of a nice name for it. And then I wrote year 2 individual 8 weeks, which is showing like when I did this project, whether this project is done in an individual manner or a group, and then like the duration of the project. So it gives the employer some idea about the standard of your work in that time frame. And here I kind of put like a small logo so it's not too dry as well, and then a brief description about the project. So here I wrote a residential unit in kindergarten that target the needs of LGBTQ plus parents and their children, of which users are chosen to resonate with the history of the site. The site is situated on Bloom Street, just adjacent to the famous gay village in Manchester. So for my projects here, I kind of like architecture that revolves around sustainability and inclusivity. So my projects here also show that, and I kind of also highlighted this idea in just the brief intro. So here, moving on, we have the next page, and there are some site analysis which I did here, basically showing your employer some skills that you have into research and also understanding the site composition, and also like the brief and the client as well. So when I did the interview, I usually highlight, oh, what hardships there are on the site. So here I actually talk about how there are 2 pieces of land in this site, and the area of one of the site is actually completely wrapped around with existing buildings. So one of the hardships is how do you put like an installation in that space but not block sunlight from entering, because that would impact the existing buildings and we don't want that. So that's one of the things that I want to highlight and how I managed to provide a solution for it later. And then the design process here, I put how I thought the kindergarten should look like, the residential unit should look like. So here I talked about how I use like the colors theme, the rainbow colors theme, which resonates with the LGBTQ plus history of that area. Because it's a kindergarten, I want the kids there to have fun. So the curriculum of that kindergarten would be to teach the kids how to embrace their own identities and not feel ashamed of who they are. And the residential unit is to provide a safe and caring space for LGBTQ plus community members to raise their children as well. So there are some sketches, and then there is like kind of a collage showing my big idea, and then some maybe 3D modeling skills here. So the main thing here is just to show the wide range of skills I have. But when I do talk about the portfolio, I just talk about the big idea. There are some sketches and 3D models which shows my thought process, and then I move on because it's something that the employers can see themselves. With this kind of sketch, I would highlight how I solved the problem that I previously mentioned, and it is how I managed to put like the modular units in different orientations, so there are voids and solids, and voids allow light to penetrate through. So it's kind of like a solution to the problem, and I think the employers also like to hear that. And then next we have some cue drawings. So basically these are just drawings to show that have AutoCAD skills, and you have like skills of 3D modeling, you can understand a plan or a section. So it's very technical things and not too artistic, I mean. And then next up, I actually show like a more technical kind of page. So here I show like a 3D model I made, which is usually a very nice thing to show 3D models because employers also look for that skill. And I show how the wall buildup could work in terms of installation and everything. And I also showed some more detailed plans of the different modular units. And in the end of this project, I put like renders with occupations, so kind of like my visualization of the whole project. So I put like residential unit, kindergarten, and then I add more colors and people to show like how when the space is actually occupied, how it will look, and also very importantly a night view, because we don't just see the building during the day, and the night is also very important. So I kind of put like the night view as like the biggest part because I kind of like the color pinkish, bluish kind of contrast, and it looks nice on paper. And then the second project which I included is called the Coexist Community Center. So I wanted it to sound more chic, so I said CCC, and like the previous project I put like year 2, individual 3 weeks, and then like a tiny brief about what the project is. So this project is actually a tech project, so it's not like a studio project, and I did like drawings for this. And for this project mainly I wanted to show like my technological resolution and show how I have some drawing skills, as well as previously most of those are very computer generated diagrams. And I kind of highlighted how this is very inclusive kind of community center as well. And then here I showcased how I know how to use software to iterate and change design. So here I talked about how I can use this software called Fiverr, which allows me to iterate the design according to like solar gain and loss, and kind of iterate with the energy usage as well to make the design more sustainable, and how it abides with like the RIBA, the 2030 goal. And then some drawings showing like the exploded isometric of construction materials, so showing how I know how a roof layer looks like, and wall buildup is like, and the floor buildup is like, and some more in-depth technological resolution. So looking more into like interior lighting, or maybe like what kind of flooring is used, how thick the insulation should be. And now we move into more artistic territory, and that is Move Space. And this is my first year project. It's a very short project, so 4 weeks. I actually redid a lot of these things because I think my research could have been done better, my iterations could have been done better as well. So I didn't want to expose too much of the immaturity I have in year 1, so I kind of redid these things, which is absolutely fine, and you definitely should if you have time. So for me, this project, I have to design a dancing space for a dance, which I chose to be tango. And then I kind of put in this page with a background of tango, and then what actually influenced my design. So I did like research on dance moves, mapping out like the movement of the dance itself, and then like the costume, the really nice fabric, the colors of the female dancers, and then my design approach to it. So, and this project for me is how I visualize when 2 dancers are gliding across the dance floor. Is usually the male who acts as like a stationary point, and the female moving around it. So here the glass stage is actually the stationary point, and you can see there's like a curved cover, and that one curve is symbol for the fluidity of the female dancers' movements, and also the moving of the fabric. That's actually one contact point between the cover and stage, and this is to symbolize how even when the female dancer is moving around the whole stage, gliding across, their hands are usually still in contact, and that's to symbolize that one point of contact. And that's the space. And then here we have some key drawings showing like plan sections and perspective, and it's very hand drawn, and it's very year 1 stuff, just to show the important kind of like the final drawings of this project. And then the last project which I have is called Stopover. So it's designing a parasitic piece of architecture for your favorite artist, and it's a very small space, so it's kind of like exploring micro living as well, because we're only limited to a floor area of 12 meters squared. And this also gives the employer a sense of you knowing something about parasitic architecture. And this is actually my favorite project out of all the projects, because to be able to design for a client you really admire and enjoy, it's just, it feels so right. And I chose Billie Eilish, which is my kind of favorite singer and artist as well. So to design a space for her, first we have to do a lot of client analysis. So I did like research on her music, I did a research on her bedroom, like I did research on like what are her traits and her fashion style and her daily routine. So I would want to incorporate all of that into the designs. This parasitic piece of architecture would be her home for quite a while, since it will be attaching to the venue where her shows are going to be performed. So I want her to feel at home and comfortable as well. In the end, I went with this very bold color themed architecture, and the reason why I went with like a hexagon kind of design is because I was inspired by her favorite pet, and her favorite pet is a pet spider. So like this, the hexagon is actually derived from the shape of a spider web. And also the reason why I use hexagons is because the floor area is only 12 meters squared. And if we do like straight walls, it could be very claustrophobic for people inhabiting that space. If we use hexagons, the walls are expanding outwards and then contracting, so it gives the dweller a better sense of spaciousness. I used 3 hexagons and I directly slapped it onto the venue. It's not because I respect the architecture there, but it is actually a symbolism of how bold Billie Eilish's style is and her music career is as well, and how disruptive she is in the music industry. So I also want this design to resonate with her personality as well. And I kind of redid a lot of these things as well because it's my first year project, and then you can see there's a lot of gaps here and there, and kind of fill those up with research and drawing. And in the end, that's it. That's the end of my portfolio. Do you know some firms may look for portfolios with like a slightly smaller page size, maybe like 10 pages, which is kind of hard to do when you have like 20 something, 30 something pages. So I would say try to make few versions of portfolios if you have the time. So whenever you submit applications, and then you can submit like the file according to their restrictions, because I'm targeting smaller firms. So I would do like smaller scale projects and also a more diverse range. But if you're targeting like a bigger firm, for example, it's BIG, they're very into sustainable architecture. So if you want to go in there, you might have to tailor your portfolio to their liking, so to resonate with their company more. And that way you may have a better chance of getting in. So for example, if you want to apply to Zaha Hadid, they're very into organic structure. And if you put like very rectangular buildings or like very blocky kind of architecture, it's not like you will not have a chance, but maybe because your designs resonate less with the firm, they feel like they might look for people who might resonate more with that firm, so your chances may be decreased. What I'm trying to say here is that bigger firms might be more picky because a lot of people want to work for them, so you might have more competition. So to increase your chances, try to make your portfolio resonate with their idea more, so you have a larger chance. And this is my portfolio, which landed me a few job offers, but I know there's still a lot of room for improvement, and I think it is also a very long learning journey in architecture as well. I hope you liked the video. If you have any other questions you would like to ask me in terms of architecture school, or like applying to jobs, or like portfolios in general, anything, type it down in the comment section below and I will try to answer them. And if you have anything and content that you want to see as well, you can also type it down there and I'll try to make it happen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share maybe, so this video can reach more people and help more people. And till next time, bye.